determines whether you are effective as a director is your independence. Your independence of mind. That you're not coming to the board to say, so and so has told me to say this. But you find that that decision is right because you have individually thought about it and determined in your mind that it is right. The second thing is your competence. How are you competent as an individual? What makes you competent? Are you the best accountant there is? Are you the best strategist there is? That is very important. And thirdly, your behavior. You can be the best person, Kirote, that we have on this board. You have your PhDs, you have gone to school and have it.
All the qualifications.
All of them. But your behavior, my dear friend, if your behavior is wrong, you can't be
My question is this. You said language has a big role to play in the dynamics and how somebody is effective on the board. But you're saying behavior also has an impact. So how I sit, how I look, does that have any impact?
All of it. If I see you, I'm the chair of your board, and you come in late every day, and you lounge in the boardroom, and you are always on your phone when people are discussing, your behavior is going to impact the board in a wrong way, negatively. So, board effectiveness is made up of individual director effectiveness. But in addition, what structure do we have as a board? Who is sitting around the table? What processes have we adopted? What policies do we have to guide us? All of those have an impact on the boardroom behaviors. Now, Kirote, as governance people, we talk about the ABC of the boardroom. What is the ABC of the boardroom?
ABC is about starting at the very beginning. Because that's where we started when we were learning how to read, how to interact with material. And with the boardroom too, there is an ABC. A is actually for the attitude pattern. How we reflect the manner in which we are thinking. So it is not only the attitude that we bring in terms of being committed, in terms of being disciplined to the work of the board, in terms of showing up. That people use the phrase showing up well. It must be a reflection of how you are thinking. So even when Catherine was mentioning lounging in the seat, when you're seated in the boardroom and your hands are crossed in front of you, constantly,
You're not listening.
with a stern face, no one can tell what you're thinking, whether you're open to the ideas that are being shared, whether you are actually interacting with the material on the board. So it's not just about the independence, the discipline, the commitment, it's also about how it shows.
By the way, happy church teachers. When you go to church, you should not cross your hands like this when the priest is preaching, because it means nothing is going in.
Everything, you're blocking it out, right? Then the P is for the behavior in terms of how you act. So not only what is showing, but also how do you express yourself? Being diplomatic and curious, being engaging and engaged, because there is a difference between being engaging and being engaged. You can sit there, you can listen with an open mind, but are never able to say anything. You're not able to engage. It is that versus being rude, disinterested, lax, distant, reactive. I don't know, Catherine, we do sometimes discuss some of our directors when we were in the company secretariat.
Absolutely.
Where
We give them names.
and we give the directors names. Mr. Yesman, Mr.
Homer.
comma, every comment is about there should have been a comma there, and there should have been a full stop over there. That's the only engagement. Or even the reactive director, who is silent all the while until someone says something which they violently disagree with, and suddenly they come alive, forget to even address the board through the chair and say, no, director can't go like that. I don't like it. The American in me comes alive. And C is for constructive candor. One of the key issues around a board that has healthy dynamics is the culture of constructive challenge. We all heard about constructive debate, which yields solutions rather than presents problems only. I had a chair when I was serving as a corporation secretary in one of the state corporations who had two mantras. One, when you are participating in this board, do not bring me problems without solutions. When you say something, could you please suggest what you think would resolve it? The second is about other business, which I shall tell you about later.
So the key message of this slide is that each one of us here should actually embrace the ABC of the boardroom. That has to do with behavior, attitude, behavior, and candor. Because that is how we can have effective boards. Kiroto, would you like us to really describe the other side of an ineffective board?
You know, the flip side is if you do not understand the disruptors or the criteria for ineffectiveness or classic dysfunction, you will not know when it is creeping up on you. And this is the thing. There is a way the board operates that builds itself up for ineffectiveness. One is lack of clarity, Catherine. No one understands what's going on, when it's going on, how it's going to go on. No one has read their board charter. No one knows about the processes of the board. Papers come late, the agenda is not clear. Everybody comes in with a wait and see attitude because we are not clear. Poor process management, people arrive late, they head straight to the Numa station before even sitting down and apologizing to the chair. People do not communicate in good time around basic hygiene issues. So you find, Catherine, there are times a meeting has been called, notice was given well in advance, the papers came to you well in advance, but on the day we are unable to raise a quorum. Why? No communication, poor process management, a lack of alignment, poor team dynamics, which we have talked about, and sometimes poor board composition, Catherine. I have sat on a board where we were 5 lawyers. Wow. And those 5 lawyers played a game of seniors. Without contradicting my senior. I do not wish to speak against my senior. Senior, what do you think? The entire time. And the composition of the board did not lend itself easily to being effective.
Absolutely. So to be effective, I like reading articles by this lady called Beverly Behan. And Beverly Behan has written a lot on board effectiveness. And when we do board evaluations, and if you look at the SCARC tool, it addresses a number of this, or all of this. So Beverly Behan has started off by saying, for a board to be effective, it must be composed of the right people. And the right people are that there is a good mix of skills on the board, and there is good mix of experience. There is also inexperience. It is important for some boards. But it is also made up of directors who are engaged and make meaningful discussions. Not Madam Koma, not Mr. Fuso. Yeah? Because the moment you corrected the minutes with the Koma and Fuso, the rest of the time,
zip.
Okay. It gets the right information at the right time. You have had an induction and you have undergone your annual board development. But at the same time, the board papers are well written. Please describe a good board paper.
A good board paper follows some basic principles. One, it has a clear build-up. It's short enough, they say, like a miniskirt, short enough to cover the content,
Yes.
but
long
enough to remain, or is it the other way? Short enough to remain interesting, but long enough to cover the content, and has a call to action. It is standardized for aid of reading and supports clearly the agenda with an implication risk framework addressed, as well as what the role of the board is. Is it a paper to note, to give guidance, to resolve on? The worst thing is to get an Excel sheet as a board paper with no narrative and no call to action.
Absolutely, and this board should be receiving updates in between board meetings. If you're on a board and the only time you communicate with each other is during board meetings or committee meetings, it's the wrong thing. You must have seen boards with WhatsApp, I have seen boards. Whatever you use to communicate with each other in between meetings is absolutely important. But the CEO and the rest of management give you updates in between meetings. And they don't wait until the meeting to give you history. They give you information for you to be able to guide them. It makes the best use of its time, focusing only on the most important things, focusing on not the execution, as Simon put it, but focusing on guiding management and ensuring that things are being done the right way. It focuses on sustainability. It has effective processes. It has an almanac, so on and so forth. It has effective interface with management. And the committees and the chair are effective. The committee chairs and the chair themselves are effective. But most importantly, the board works together as a team. And the board works with the CEO constructively. But what is the most important behavior that you would expect of any one director?
So we come with our whole raft of behaviors, qualities, skills, talents and behaviors when we come onto the board. Some which we were born with, nature, some which were nurtured over time. But there is something there that is critical for any board member, Catherine. A board member must possess the courage to do the right thing for the right reason. And courage, I am not sure, I wish we had time to discuss whether it is something you're born with or you can learn over time. But courage is absolutely necessary. Of course, courage then gives you the impetus to constructively challenge, as we talked about, to bring everything that you have to bear in sound decision making. Catherine, you see, the thing is this: as directors, we do need to remember that if anyone is aggrieved with any decision that we have taken, they have the option to actually take action, even legal action, against one director, some of the directors, or all of the directors under the principle of collective responsibility. And therefore, we must all bring ourselves to bear in the decision making. And we should avoid something called groupthink. That one. Arvin Janis, he talked about groupthink. And this, Catherine, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about what groupthink is.
As I said earlier, I grew up in a village. And once in a while we would go to town. And in my hometown, it has sheep. And sometimes the sheep go to town. So I spend my time just sitting sometimes by the roadside And I would see leadership, I would call him leadership. Once leadership crosses the road, it doesn't matter that there's a truck coming. All of them have to cross. Kama nani amesoma, si tumesoma wote. So, in the boardroom, we hear, Madam Chair, I agree with Director Kirote, I have nothing useful to add. Just like time, every time. That's groupthink.
Absolutely. Groupthink is that collective avoidance of applying yourself. That's really what it is. And actually, when there is groupthink on a board, you find people don't ask the right questions. When there was the global financial crisis, people called it a crisis some years back. Actually, I think it was a meltdown. The key issue was a product that was issued by big financial conglomerates called subprime mortgages. I do not know why all these really clever financial people sitting in the boardrooms did not ask the right questions. They were bamboozled by this young financial analyst who came with ties that are tied to the size of the samosa. They come to the boardroom and talk about the world economy and talk about what is happening in the steel industry and the coal industry, but no one asked the simple, silly question. This product you're putting before us, if I were to buy it, what would I gain from it? And you need to be able to ask the right questions, Catherine, and that is what creates healthy dynamics.
So, to be effective, a board needs to make sure that you have created a safe and supportive environment for everybody to thrive and to make their contribution. And that's not just the responsibility of the chair, but the responsibility of each and every one of us. We need to embrace and respect differences, even within your own family or folk. There are differences. What about these people who have been brought together by somebody else? There are also differences. So there is need for us to respect that we are different and we bring different qualities to the board. We need to develop strong and trusting relationships. And strong and trusting relationships are not built in the boardroom. If there is any board that says they have a strong relationship and they have never had an informal meeting, they're lying to themselves. So Engineer Kamau, we expect you, to invite your board members for a drink, for a vote, all of those things. So that you get to know each other.
You can even just sit under a tree and chew grass. Remember
or sugarcane.
Or sugarcane.
Yeah. A board needs to handle conflict and tension effectively and embrace independence of thought and expression. But we must all show commitment. Why were we appointed to this board? What difference are we trying to make? Are we committed to our role? And we must focus on being productive, demonstrating a very clear understanding of why we are on the board. Even when managers see us, the way you walk into the boardroom actually just gives you away as to whether you're just coming to collect your allowance or you're coming to add value. Building teamwork within the board and with management. I always say in Kirote that the board and management are actually on the same team, the same side. So, the board cannot be, you don't walk alone. Is that what they say? Yes. And then the other one is Manu. Yes. Management is Manu, the board is management. What will happen? You're right, isn't it? So if you decide that you're Manu, you and the management are Manu. If you decide you're Arsenal, you and management are Arsenal. Because when management succeeds, as a board, you take credit. So you must support management to succeed. You know, on a board, there are different personalities. Absolutely. Even in this room, we have different personalities. And there are very many ways of explaining the different personalities, but we have chosen this particular one. The first personality are the people we call the greens, the observers, the imaginatives. These are the people, when they come into the boardroom, the first thing they do, they just observe. They're just looking. Where is the chair sitting? Why is the chair not happy today? Those are the observers.
Our greens.
Then we have the blues, the people we call the analytics. These are the people, and more onto you if they're the accountants on the road. These are the people, you present a wallpaper and they're like, but did you analyze the statistics that were done in 1902? Yeah, 1902.
And in analysis, analysis.
So that decision is not going to be made unless that information has been given to them. Meanwhile, the observers are just observing. Then we have the people, the yellows, the sunshine people. These are the practical strategies, the people who just plan, the people who solve problems. These are people who thrive in identifying and solving problems. So they are the ones who are saying, you say that building is not standing, I think we need a structural engineer who needs to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we solve. Lastly, we have people we call the dynamics, the red people. Hey, these ones, they just do it. They just do it. They come into the room, they see the chairman's chair is not exactly right, they just go. They just do it. They don't think. Meanwhile, the observers are like, what's wrong with this person? Can't even read. The analyst is wondering, why are we making a decision we don't have all the facts? So in a board chaotic, we have all these people. Whether we have the people.
So, Catherine, I wish I could ask you, I think I've never asked you which one you are. Does anybody identify? And here we are talking about your natural inclination. Over time, many years of being in management and leadership, you learn to bring on different parts of yourself. But your natural inclination, is anybody willing to just share with us which color they identify with them? And a little more detail has been added as to why all these personalities are necessary for our good. Anybody who can identify with being a green, an observer, one who is more interested in creating that climate of trust, understanding what is going on before making an action. Any green here?
About the analytics.
What about the analytics? Our cool blues. These people are interested in the task. They want to define the problem or the task accurately before exchanging ideas and information. Anyone who can identify being a blue? People are, we can see some blues, and we shall ask them a question just now. Anyone who can identify with being a yellow, sunshine yellow, the strategists, they are good at identifying and solving problems. They work with an agenda, and they also work very well under pressure. Time constraint, they are able to come up with a solution quite quickly. Anyone who identifies, I can see one here and one down there. Thank you.
That's Kippy.
Kippy, so he knows. And then the dynamic, the just do it. Come on, fail fast, fail forward. That's what the dynamics do. Fail fast and fail forward. We'll correct it later. Any red here? I'll be surprised if there are no reds here, because most chairs of boards usually have quite a bit of red in them. So maybe let's just ask a question. You identified with me? Ayeni, Assange Ayeni. Can you tell me, what do you like or what irritates you about a cool blue? When you're seated on the board, this person who just wants numbers, trend analysis, and all these other things.
The analysts sometimes go into too much detail and sometimes don't have that. We need a conclusion.
Yes, it's time.
We need to move.
We need to move. Yes.
And they're asking for more detail.
More detail?
The board member has to go back to management 10 times. So, Dorothy, can you imagine the poor chair of a board? And the chair, by the way, is one of those.
Yes.
We all know which one. But the chair has to manage all the personalities. That's where, Dorothy, emotional intelligence comes in. And we don't have too much time, so let's just talk about emotional intelligence. Please just quickly describe it in a minute or two.
So, emotional intelligence is about a range of cognitive skills and competencies that one needs in order to self-regulate or regulate their emotions and also support others in managing the emotions of others with empathy. And so someone who is emotionally intelligent will always understand their emotions, so they're very self-aware, they know what is triggering them, what their emotions are, they're good at managing, they have self-management skills. They are self-aware, they know how to regulate their emotions, and they have motivation, intrinsic motivation more than extrinsic motivation, in order to deliver despite how they feel or what they have perceived about those emotions. And this person also has some good skills and competencies around managing their relationships with others. So therefore, they use empathy. They are empathetic about the other person because they can see this person is coming from somewhere. Let me give them time. They also have the social skills to navigate difficult conversations with diplomacy, but with focus. So it is a range of self-management skills and management of relationship with other skills that produces a grounded, emotionally intelligent person.
Absolutely, and we say that IQ is set at a certain age. You don't say if you're an E, you're an E. Even if
For
you
effort.
put your
E for effort. Yes, thank you. E for
So
effort.
even if you put your feet in water the whole night so that you reach, you are an E. But the beauty about emotional intelligence is you can learn these skills anytime. You can practice self-awareness. What makes you upset? You can regulate yourself. You can motivate yourself. You can show empathy. You can develop social skills. So when Job comes home, Job is her husband, by the way.
Job is my husband.
Yes. So when Job comes home at night, 2 a.m., what do you do? Yes, 2 a.m. What do you do?
Ask the question.
You ask the question. Which question?
You said he comes home at 2 a.m. Then what are you asking?
I want you to demonstrate that you have emotional intelligence skills.
That's good.
So what do you do?
It's going to be very difficult. As an American, I will stand at the door first with my hand akimbo, Catherine, so that he can explain first before he
Or
comes.
if there is a robber out there, and have you thought about the situation you're creating for yourself, the American in you? Because you ask Job the question, he gets upset, and the next thing we do, the neighbors are involved. But if you had exercised self-regulation, you would have let him come in, and then, yes,
Okay.
and then count to 10, let the message reach your emotional brain, your rational brain, and then you can ask the question. So let me talk about the brain a little bit. From an emotional intelligence perspective, we have two brains. the emotional brain and the rational brain, and Dr. mentioned it. So your emotional brain is here. Please touch the back of your head. That's where your emotional brain is. Your rational brain, on the other hand, is here. Touch the front. That's where your rational brain is. Where do messages get into the brain through? How do they come into the brain? Through where? The ears, the eyes, the feet when you run. But how do they get into the brain? Well, how does the message get into the brain? You heard of the nervous system, right? So the message gets into your brain through the back of your brain. The nervous system, the central one. And when that message gets in, which brain does it first encounter? Which one? The emotional brain. That's why it is so important to be emotionally aware, because the message first gets into your emotional brain. Now, in your emotional brain, there is no language. There is just an urge, a feeling. You don't speak, there is no language there. Urges and feelings. You feel angry, you feel like taking some sugar, you feel like beating somebody, you feel like shouting, but there's no language there. It takes about 6 seconds for the message to travel to your rational brain. Now, in the rational brain, you have language, and you can analyze facts. So when the message gets into your rational brain, there was first the feeling that this person on this board has really insulted me, you know? So I'm like, I need to just remove my shoe and hit this person because I'm feeling angry, emotional brain. But I let the message get to my rational brain. My rational brain tells me, but you know what? He's actually bigger than you. He will pound you to pulp. Then I'm like, okay. So I really can't do this. So that's why you are told that please let messages process through your emotional brain to your rational brain before you react. That's the reason why if somebody sends you a bad email, close your laptop, go for a walk, run, do anything for the message to be released from your emotional brain to your rational brain before you react. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Count to 10, take 3 deep breaths in and out, and give it time to get there. Because at the end of the day, it has been noted by research, our Cool Blues will tell us that 90% of top performers score high in EQ, and that EQ is twice as important as that IQ.
So on a board, if we are emotionally intelligent, we are bound to behave better, to reach out to each other, to understand each other, to be more effective. But if we just act with IQ alone, we are bound to create very wrong situations for each of us. Now, so let's talk about these people. I'm sure you recognize them. And we have them on our boards.
I refuse.
We have them on our boards. We have the know-it-alls. We have the passives. We have the dictators. We have the yes people. We have the no people. We have the gripers. Can you imagine the poor chairman who has to manage all of these, and if all of them are on one board, apparently you have at least one.
At least one.
So for us to manage these people, we need emotional intelligence. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Nicolette. You've really taken us through a very key topic, emotional intelligence in managing board dynamics. And I am sure you can agree with me that we've learned a lot. We have learned the ABC, the various types of people in boards and chairs. I think now you can be able to apply your wisdom when handling the various types of people. They know it all. They know the yes and so forth. Now, we have about 5 minutes to ask questions. And for those who are not able to ask now, you can still use Uliza Ujibiwe platform for us to answer you all the queries on Saturday. Now, I'm asking from this side, do we have any person who would like to ask a question on this topic? I can see, is that some hand up? Gentleman? Yes, this side. And there is another gentleman here. I'm taking 2, 3, okay. There is a lady, I cannot shut you out. Is that a lady? Okay, 3. Now, can you start the first?
Thank you very much for that good presentation. My name is Felix Okach. I'm a council member at Karatina University. You talked about you sometimes go for moose eating, things like that, and so the engineer was very happy about that. The question is, with the limitations of setting analysis, setting analysis that moose eating or just and then 2, sometimes you can take the board, which is rather skewed. Men and women and young girls, things like that. So mama hatataka kwenda kukula mbuzi na wewe. So how would you do in that case? Thank you very much.
The next gentleman, please. And finally the lady in the middle.
Thank you, Anthony. Well done in a very clear presentation. When it comes to a mix of skills and experiences, how is that ensured? We usually find ourselves in that board. None of us has taken any action towards its composition. So how do we ensure competence when we have not taken part in the selection of the boards? That is one. The other one is that in some organizations, boards and management work in watertight compartments. There is hardly any physical or even sometimes any other interaction between management and board members. All right. How do we ensure that, given that the board, the decisions boards arrive at, and you have seen very well, given us very well the flow of a good paper. How do we ensure that there is interaction, both physical and otherwise, between boards and management, so that there is no watertight compartment existence in an organization? Thank you.
Lady.
Madam Chair, it was a gentleman. I guess the right is doing bad with you. So I'll forgive you for that.
I'm sorry, because I was also told by the other directors near you that I'm sorry.
Andrew Mugambi, I'm with NHIF. Currently in Kirote, always good to see the sessions and hear you out. I think actually my question was building up on this and some discussions that early in the session. about what happens with CEOs who effectively end up running boards or having, a field day. I haven't argued that it's partly the way public sector entities are structured. Because if you look at from a private sector standpoint, you never have a CEO who runs a board or who runs a work in respect to a board. So some have argued that the way public entities are structured, right from the State Corporations Act, we're totally warning about, the difference who manages and who executes, but that could be the reason. But it may not actually be that our brilliant CEOs are able to take over boards because they are not dynamic enough to deal with the issues and to deal with the interactions. And the CEOs are able to pick up on that and use that divided board to actually run that show. Thank you.
There's a lady here. There's a lady who has been struggling to be noticed.
I was thinking quick, but because there is no, I have to recognize the desert. Now, the lady, I can also take your place.
Do I need a mic?
You can shout. You can shout.
Thank you for the consideration. My name is Irene, the Invitation Commission. Thank you for handling the topic very well. Those dynamics we are talking about, board dynamics, are inevitable. And they are inevitable everywhere we go, in any setting. So it doesn't matter whether it's private sector or public service, they are there. So since you are there, you are the founders. Can you tell us how, because I am telling you a lot about, how do we harmonize all this energy? How do we make sure that all this is harnessed and we use it for the, to actually achieve our mandate in boards? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take the first two and Kiroche will take the last two. I'm sparing the easier ones for myself. It's informal meetings. They're all informal, right? So they're not sitting allowances. Remember, Simon said that for you to earn the allowance, there must be minutes. So how are you going to meet a country surely? They're just informal. It's friends meeting to get to know each other. And by the way, don't harass your CEOs to pay for those informal meetings. It's friends getting together. You just want to know each other, right? Well, once in a while, perhaps there could be the Christmas party, the occasional Christmas party, and you enjoy and so on and so forth. Now let me also say this, that boards should use those informal meetings to develop relationships with each other, but also to validate the succession plan they have put in place at management level. Why am I saying this? So you have this succession plan, and you know that these guys are good, they can take over from the CEO. Then you have this informal meeting, and this potential successor, the moment they take two, all the secrets of the organization are out. Does he or she remain on the succession plan? Because it's the brand of the organization. So you can use those informal meetings to validate your succession plan. There are board members who may not want or may not be able to get involved in some of these activities. And I'm not defining the informal meetings. All we are saying is find time outside of the boardroom. It doesn't have to be in a club, it doesn't have to be under a tree, whatever works for you. And it doesn't have to be everybody, but at least a critical mass. Mix of skills, how is it ensured? Earlier we talked about succession planning. And also, if you look at Mwongozo, every board is supposed to develop a diversity and skills matrix. That diversity and skills matrix is supposed to be owned by the chair for stakeholder engagement. We cannot dictate who comes to our board, but you can do stakeholder engagement to influence the skills you want on the board. So the chair then uses that diversity and skills matrix to say, when the next vacancy comes up on the board, would you at least consider giving us this skill? Because the way when looking at our strategic plan and looking at the array of our stakeholders, we really need this skill on the board. So, Madam, Mr. CS, can you please consider giving us somebody? We don't know who, because we can't dictate who, but at least this skill is really critical for our stakeholders and also for our strategy. So that's the only way you can influence. You can influence, but you can't dictate. Boards and management, there is no interaction between the board and management. It's very important that the board and management interact, because you're playing with each other, not against each other. But even interaction outside of the CEO, the board has to be careful not to create another center of power outside of the CEO. What am I talking about? That management suddenly see or find that they can come and buchelate to you, the board, and you will listen and entertain that buchelate to work against the CEO. And that's the reason why you have had the usual statement that any interaction between the board and management should be through the CEO. It's because of some of our bad manners. Yeah? But if we trust each other and we engage with each other, we should really encourage the interactions between the two, so that we can indeed create value for our state operations. In addition to that, if you look at our committee structure, there is management sitting there and presenting the papers. So use that opportunity to engage with management. Use that opportunity to mentor management as board members, so that we all deliver value for our organizations.
Thank you, Catherine. Even on that issue of the diversity of the board and how you ensure that it is inclusive when you have informal sessions, blue sky sessions, incidentally you can also take advantage of times when you're going out for training or times when you have strategic planning sessions to have informal sessions on the sidelines of those interactions. But now, in the field of diversity and inclusivity, there are two additional words that are coming in, and I'll focus on one of them. Equity, the other is belonging. Even with young board members, you will find young board members, there are some here, you'll find differently abled board members. You should be creating an environment where each and everyone feels they belong and therefore are able to bring their unique skills and capabilities. So everyone should be involved, the young, the old, every dynamic should really be included and create a place of belonging. The question was, CEOs who run amok, Andrew, it's good to see you again. The issue is this, a lack of understanding of the critical role that each plays and that separation of roles that yields effectiveness, I think has been one of the key issues that has led to this problem in the public sector. And the issue is this, remembering that one, you're playing on the same side, but two, the way in which you interact both as a board on its own as well as with the management is the one that gives the cues to the CEO and even to the management around who is playing their role. Let me give you an example. The audit committee, the provision there is that the audit committee, the secretary to the committee is a who? An internal auditor. And the CEO is to attend by invitation. And that the audit committee should have an interaction with the external auditors and even the internal auditors in the absence of management. And that allows you an opportunity as board members to interact with key issues around the control environment of the institution, as well as the outcomes or the attitudes that have been viewed during the audit. But then what do you do with that opportunity? The opportunity shouldn't be to alienate management or to alienate the CEO, but to gain a deeper understanding by asking the right questions and providing constructive feedback to the CEO as the body that is charged with management of the organization. Take your stand. As a board, understand how you interact, use the opportunities in order to create that one team that is critical, but with the people playing the right roles. In terms of synergy, when we talk about this issue of the different personalities and the different ways in which people interact, it's with an understanding that two things can happen. One, knowledge is power. That's why we talk about self-awareness. If you know who you are and how you generally react to situations, then you are able to take a step back and apply your rational brain to bring on a new empathy or understanding of how to interact with the other person. Let me give you an example. Those color blocks we were looking at, if my natural inclination is to be a red, a dynamic, just do it. The most difficult person for me to understand on that note is the observer, the one that is diametrically opposed. Sunshines have a real problem understanding the analytics. But if you're aware of who you are and who your fellow board members are, you will gain a new understanding and empathy, and you're able to interact better. Secondly, the skills development. Synergy can be brought around by developing new skills and new competencies. As a board, you can decide, we want to learn more about this or more about that together so that we elevate the discussion that we have on certain issues within the board. And so use the board evaluation feedback, which is supposed to be objective, to come up with a development plan for the individuals but for the board as a whole in order to build synergy.
I think just 1 minute to add something to Andrew's question. Andrew, the situation you described was more common previously. Why do I say that? Boards would present 3 names to the cabinet secretary to appoint a CEO. So some CEOs would say the person who appointed you is the same one who has appointed me. But now when you look at Mugozo, who appoints the chair? Who appoints the chair? His Excellency the President, right? Who appoints the board members? The cabinet secretary. And who appoints the CEO? The board. So there's a very clear pecking order. And so even as this CEO is running amok, you're the ones who have appointed the CEO. So if they run amok, they are a creature of the board. You're not taking action, you appointed them and you have created them. So you need to take action. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine and Groten. I think they need for themselves a clap. Now, the next topic is the legal